Hello, Overkill Tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy Renaissance with me, BlueAnkylo. We're kind of getting into the end game here. We've killed Tiamat, only Tiamat, nobody else. But we've now defeated the hardest of the fiends, and we can start our reverse boss order for real. But first, I want to do a little thing, just real quick here. Oh look, there's some imps. What if we just stop them from escaping for a second? You know, just for fun, just to see something. We need Cecil to get a turn here. All right, rooted, good. All right, they're stuck. Yeah, we're good. Let's just hold on for a second. Interestingly, I did learn. I was testing a couple things out. Usually Saber is self-cast only. So if you cast the spell, you can only cast it on yourself. And using the Power Gauntlet as an item in most Final Fantasy versions I've played anyway, you can only use it on yourself. It just auto-uses. But we can use it on a friend, which means it's probably better on a wizard, actually, technically. Someone who's doing buffing. Do I have anything else I can do? No, probably not. If I had access to... I do have access to Temper, so it's really, actually, the ninja's like the worst person to have it. But anyway, yeah, I'm just... Oh, I also need to put darkness. Can't forget darkness. All right. Now, we could wait for a while to really see how much we can stack up the Power Glove. I think 3 will be enough for my purposes here. I just want to see a darked target with fast level 2 on a level 21 Dark Knight. How's this going to look? Don't blink. 5,000 damage. That's probably a new record. I don't think you can get that high even with a level 50 monk in the base game. So that's pretty good. We're only level 21. There's a lot of room to grow. And there might even be a better greatsword. I'm not 100% on that. But that's 35% hit rate and we did 5,000 damage. Now, to be fair, that is basically optimal. I think the imps have the least defense. There might be something else similar, but absorb of 4. I don't know if there's anything else that's like easier to damage than an imp. Maybe like a bone. Yeah, okay, a bone technically has 0 absorb, so you could try against one of these to do, you know. We had 10 hits, but the crits ignore absorb anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's just the non-crits that the defense matters. But anyway, I just wanted to start off with see how much damage we can pull off. I still have kind of mixed feelings on the Death Knight, but you know, killing potential, not a problem. Just needs a lot of setup to get there. And honestly, 5,000 damage, it doesn't matter because like, when do you need to do that much damage? The answer is, like, you don't, ever. Okay, so, other things for today. Welcome back, folks. We're gonna go kill Kraken. I'm gonna try to find uses for my ranger, who's kind of let me down a little bit. I do need to go visit the mermaids one more time, because there's some treasure. I think I missed a couple items. Yeah, I was scared of spooky ghosts, so we didn't stay very long on this floor last time. In fact, we may have even died to ghosts on our first visit. No problem getting a couple levels. The other thing I'd like to do maybe after Kraken is to try to get the Death Knight side quest done. It would have been nice to do it by now, because we're in the town that we turn it in, basically. But, I mean, it's not very hard to get back. It's just... yeah, technically speaking, right? So, all right, yeah, we got rid of... Right. It's fine. I got rid of my Zeus's gauntlets. I still have a Thor hammer somewhere. I could give that to Tello. But I mean, having a ninja is really nice because it does give us access to some AoE lightning, which just deals with these unrunnable paths. Yeah, our inventory is a little bit busy here. Yeah, I feel like it's not the worst idea to give some sort of casting item to the ranger, but usually they're just going to be attacking. That's opal armor. sadly, no one can actually equip it. That's one of the reasons we didn't come back to pick that up. I believe the ninja can only equip fire and ice armor. Do I have to check now? Yeah, I have a slot. I'm pretty sure he cannot. Yeah. So the fire and ice armor is as good as you get on a ninja, and the dragon armor is better anyway, and you can't equip the opal. So yeah, opal armor useless without somebody like a knight. I'm not sure all the classes. I think maybe the dragoon can equip it. I'm not 100% sure on the dragoon either. But yeah, the heavy armor usually for the fighter / knight, right? So where's all these secret items? Maybe that's the real reason to go to the reverse sea room. I know the treasure chest in there is garbage, but I haven't really had any desire to use the heal 2 potions yet. I guess if we're ever in... The thing is, like, they're twice as effective as a normal heal potion, which is certainly good. But if you're ever in, like, real threat, it's still not enough to make much difference. Like, enemies that are critting us for 100 or 200 damage, oh, you can heal 40 hit points instead of 20, right? Like, I mean, good, but it's not going to change too much. Still don't know actually where I'm going. So all 3 of our sort of fighter-type characters did just under 300 damage. It feels pretty good. I'd say going into the final dungeon, if we were like, we're not gonna get, after this dungeon, we're not gonna get tons of experience, because doing the reverse order means, you know, we're gonna be fighting weaker and weaker enemies as we go. But you know, if we're doing around 300 damage per, I don't really have a good option here either. Yeah, actually, I do have a good option. This is definitely one of those areas where maybe even putting like haste. If there was a way, it's probably not worth giving up a fast. But trying to get the ninja to go early, which this should help, and then throwing his massive damage fire scroll. That's pretty cool. Still not really finding... Haven't really looked very hard. But we really need fangs to grind up all the arrows for Maria. I haven't really discovered any good locations for that. Okay, that should be everything up. We might as well just go back to the inn. Oh, it's the wrong... It's the last inn you were at. Oops. Oops, oops. It's fine. Yeah, gotta remember that. I was thinking it would just take me out, like a exit spell, but no. Alright. Not like it really made a difference. We didn't have any encounters anyway, but... I have not been talking to very many villagers, I will admit, but... I'm pretty confident we don't have a party that cares about talking to people. So if you're playing with different Renaissance team members, you will perhaps want to talk to lots of the old NPCs that you usually skip, but I don't think there's much value for us in this group. Alright, it should be a pretty straight run down to the Kraken. I'm pretty sure we've looted everything, and maybe everything except the bottom floor we've already done the thief stealing. Get maybe a level up on the way down, no big deal. Although, I don't feel like lobsters are worth the hassle. I do think the ninja is pretty good for, like, I ran out of... I didn't actually buy any of those scrolls yet. Fire would be good here. Actually, they might be weak to wind as well. Oh, no. Low ice damage. Right. That's weird. I didn't notice that. They do a damage, and then they lower resistance to a different element. Hold on. That was the wrong one. I want to try wind, because they might be weak to it. I mean, this is a small enough group, it doesn't really matter, but... Actually, the white shirt. I think they're still weak to wind. I think... So, wind is not a nat... I've talked about this lots, of course, by now, but I have looked through the bestiary a fair bit at this point, and a lot of spectral undead are now weak to wind. Things that are weak to holy, like harm, especially the spectral ones, but even just regular undead, maybe, seem to be susceptible to wind. And I have a feeling the green mage, which is kind of a druid, must get some sort of arrow spell that I just don't know about. Because usually, you know, white mages are your undead killering if they're good against things that are weak to holy. But there is this wind element that I've been seeing a fair number of undead are also susceptible to. Maybe all of them even. I think even the Lich was. So if I eventually play with a green mage, I mean, I'll eventually try them all out. Maybe that's the replacement for white mage's harm, is they've got an arrow spell. That maybe it's better because it'll just do damage to everything, and then bonus damage to undead, which would make it better than harm, probably. Usually in D&D, druids are a lot like clerics, but a little bit more damage dealing than fully support like a cleric. I mean, clerics do a lot of damage too, but their build tends to be more focused around defense and support. Druids are generally, well, obviously nature themed, but their spells, they tend to have a lot more elemental, you know, damaging control spells than a cleric does. I mean, clerics are potentially one of the strongest D&D classes anyway in 5th edition, but in fact, almost any edition, really, but people think of them as heal bots, but they don't need to. They're actually, compared to, like, future Final Fantasies where white mages get really squishy, and they kind of act, even this one, they only wear, like, cloth armor and stuff. Dungeons, if you're not familiar with D&D clerics, they very often wear heavy armor and shields and are nearly as tanky as the fighter. They just not as much attack swingy as a fighter would be. Tails don't matter. I'm trying to remember to check encounter tiles for fangs, but not today. But yeah, so getting some ideas of how to do some cool tricks here. I'm pretty sure we're strong enough we could just auto-battle through, basically, because we can generally one-shot a ghost, and we've got enough hit points that they're probably not going to be killing anybody. But we're still in a situation where if they do kill my Time Mage, just like killing my White Wizard, I can't really recover, unless we clear the dungeon, which, to be honest, we probably could. Okay, this floor we've not been to yet. I never go up. This is going to be in the treasure room. To the left. Yeah, probably for sure. Yeah, the encounter rate, this is the final floor of the Water Shrine, of course. It is, I believe, always high on this floor. This is traditionally a pretty high encounter zone. Surara, is that the tsunami? Actually, that might make sense. I think tsunami is a Japanese word, right? Like, tidal wave would probably be the English equivalent, but I think we just have incorporated tsunami into our lexicon. Pretty sure that originated from Japan, so Su is probably water, I would... Or however, again, I'm not trying to say I can pronounce it the way its native speakers would, but that would make sense. I like root word discoveries. It's like, it's fun. Hadn't thought of that before. I mean, I watch some anime from time to time. I'm not a weebo or whatever. I'm not like hardcore, but you know, I watched the mainstream ones. I've seen some One Piece, some Naruto. Naruto's got all the... Probably if I paid more attention, that's the one that's got all the ninja special attacks. 500 gold, lame. Look, we're basically playing anime D&D. This is Final Fantasy, okay? if you didn't know, the Final Fantasy series is anime D&D. Like, it's always been this way. Started in FF1, and the anime just gets stronger. An extra heal hum is kind of nice. They're not, like, super special. I'd rather have paralysis protection, but, you know, having access to some more healing. I do need to figure out how I'm going to do the quest for Cecil to take a ton of damage. How are we going to pull that off? I really don't have any healing. The main thing is healing, right? I can throw potions, and I can use heal staff and heal helmets, and I think that's, or his own lifesteal, but that's too strong probably. He'll kill stuff before, like, we can't kill the enemies until he's taken 1,000 damage. So we can't rely on killing to heal. Yeah, I don't have a group that helps him with his quest. And if we level up too much, I mean, the higher we level, the more hit points he has, the less healing is necessary, right? Like, that's good. And I can always unequip his armor. But the higher his level, the more the enemies run away, which, I mean, again, we have a way around that too, technically. So that's, the longer we wait, the easier it will be, but then the less value, because we're not going to get his new skill till later. I think we just kill... I might even do it in the Temple of Fiends, because we can fight, like, a big pack of worms or something on that first floor of the Temple of Fiends. Oh, but we don't have access to exit... No, we have warp. Okay, never mind. The Temple of Fiends sucks for grinding if you don't have any warp or exit access, because it's a one-way trip. But thankfully, the Time Mage basically means we can leave whenever we want, and come back whenever we want to. So maybe that's the plan. I just can't think of an easy way to do that 1,000 damage quest yet. Other than really slow grinding, like fighting some sort of mid-level monster like a Tyro or something, binding it, taking all his armor off, and then just heal potioning and heal potioning and heal potioning, which you could start... I mean, maybe we'll give it a shot, but... Maybe we should try to find a T-Rex and do it on the T-Rex or something. I think we'll be fine. The Kraken's not too strong. We do have all these limits that I never use either. I still don't know when we want Enchant Dark on our Death Knight, but... so interestingly, you can also Bane the Kraken in terms of fun things you could do. Oh, right. The main thing, though, is I wanted to try... I keep forgetting Hunter's Mark, too. Magic... Sorry, folks. I'm looking for the fish one, right? This should auto-slow it. And at that point, it's done. Yeah. Alright, so this time we're going to show off the big, powerful Death Knight versus boss trick. We do need to get it darked. And we might as well stack some power. We could also put a Hunter's Mark on it to get a guaranteed crit. Is there anything else that might be worth trying to do? Silence it so it can't cast its ink. It has lightning too, technically. Maybe we just use the Hunter to really, like... We've already won, but we're just, like, you know, styling on it now. So I've got Fast 2 off. I need the Darkness. Weapon up. So we did not get the Dim. We did not get Silence. I guess we could do that. Let's try that another time. Probably not worth it. Because I'm going to want to... Well, this is probably part of it. It's like, if it's only 50% chance, then it's only 50%. But it might be lower than that. Come on, get him. There, he's silenced. It's not dark yet. We're not all the way through. We're just flexing here. I'll put Hunter's Mark on. And I will keep going for that Dim. Eventually it's got to hit. There we go. Alright. He's blind, silenced, slowed. I don't want to attack him with the... We could attack him 4 times, but Let's just start aiming. Actually, you could do that. Just aim for 4 turns now that he can't do anything. But, like, at the point where the boss can't do anything, like, you've already won. Let's see how bad Cecil is. 5,800 damage to the Kraken. I mean, this strat is almost certainly strong enough to one-shot Tiamat. Or not Tiamat, sorry, Chaos. Assuming we can get him silenced as well, that is not going to be an issue. I don't know if we're going to be successful against the final boss to silence him, but also slowing him is pretty nice too, to be fair. Yeah, we know he only counts, we checked last episode, he only counts as a spellcaster. I mean, you could try to reduce his physical strength as well, but I feel like that's a waste of fangs. Okay, well, that was no big deal. Back to my airship. Just double check here, but all the stuff I keep throwing on the ground, it should still be showing up in my little shop here. Yeah, 11 pages, bam. That's everything we've ever thrown on the ground that you might want to pick up. It's not sorted or anything, so it might be a little bit tricky to find it, but even duplicates have their own spot. So that's pretty good. I'm a big fan, like that's... Okay. There might be a couple bugs left. If you, oh no. If you, open the menu while... Or what did I do? I took off on the airship as I was loading the screen. Let's see if it's soft reset. Nope. Let's see if going to the title fixes. Still did not. Hold on. Pretty good little glitch there. That's fun. It does take a few seconds to load the game back up. Longer than the emulator, technically. But I've only seen a couple graphical glitches. I'm assuming it's something to do with just the way it's programmed in Unity. It's fine. It's not a big deal, but it's just kind of funny when something like that happens. Now, if it's completely glitched my game forever, I'm going to be a little bit upset. Okay, so I think our plan, my plan, your plan too, is to go try to get the... I'm going to try a little bit to get my Death Knight quest. I'll just buy like 99 heal potions, and we'll fight something we can bind. Maybe put it at maximum speed. Alright, we're back. Yeah, I need to... Just in case we really get in a long slog, let's go buy some heal potions. I think... What enemy hits the hardest on the overworld? Maybe Ankylos, actually? Like Red Ankylo pack? They might not run away yet. Our level isn't actually crazy high. I think that's possible. I mean, we could go into a dungeon, too. There's nothing stopping us from going to fight. Like, if there was a trap tile that had good high damage output... But I would say the desert here is one of my classic late game grind spots when I have nothing better to do. Here, 1 Ankylo. Now, oh wait, hold on. I'm not doing this with all my armor on. That'll take way too long. But we want someone who doesn't have status effects. And we're probably just going to be spamming... I've got a heal staff, and I've got a heal helmet, and then just drinking potions. We don't actually want to increase his... like, we don't want to put everyone's evade up with white shirt or anything. Like, if we want to do this in a reasonable amount of time, we have to take 1,000 damage total. Tyro will also work, but we need him to not run away. I would like the ninja who's going to hit second most frequently to basically go defend. And then I don't know if there's anything else that contributes, really. Like, we're just going to be waiting. Yeah. I mean, if other people had ruse, they could give themselves evasion or armor or something, but failed the bind. Want to see how much damage. So 100 damage, not nothing. So yeah, the real question is, can I stay healed up quicker than we take damage, I guess. And then if it's like 10 turns, 100 damage each, that's not too bad. We're not getting these binds off, but he might not. We actually might not be high enough level to have a problem. I got one more attempt anyway. So yeah, I guess this is my life. That's 200 damage. There will be a pop-up, I believe, when we succeed on the quest. Okay, he can't escape, so we're not going to get a spoiler annoying runaway at the end. Because that would be really annoying if we did this for like 5 minutes and then he just ran away. Okay, he is going to attack Cecil about half the time and deal 100 damage to him. We've been hit 3 times. It is possible we can't actually heal through this without using the better potions, which I will reserve a little longer. I suppose I could try to slow it down by throwing a white shirt use on Cecil as well. I certainly don't want anyone else to die while I'm getting this going. Alright, 65 damage. We're up to about 400, give or take. And looking okay. A little monotonous, but I think this... There's no reason you couldn't do this with heal potions pretty early on once you get the quest. I think you want a few hundred hit points at least. And certainly the healing staff and healing helmet are going to make it a bit easier. It would just be trivial if you had a white mage. Or even a red mage, probably. Maybe... There's a couple classes that can... Actually, the dancer can do some healing a little bit. There's classes that get, like... There's a regen spell I've seen somewhere. Can't remember who all learns it, but in theory, regeneration would maybe even be better. Because it's a percentage of your max. So you have a really high total. That might be a nice way to do this. But this looks like we'll probably be under control here. Yeah, because the Tyro's not going to attack him every turn. And the rest of the team is, well, honestly quite disposable if it comes down to it. Okay. Topped up. And then we just wait, I guess, basically. No, don't kill him. Yeah, I cannot accidentally kill this dinosaur until we're done. So if you were confident with the math, you'd probably be a little bit better off, you know, coming in here without 4 party members. Like, if you came in with just 2, like, Death Knight plus 1 white mage at the bottom, probably the smoothest way to do this. Because then most of the attacks go to the Death Knight, and you don't have to waste as much time. Like, I could probably do this a couple times to speed it up. I just don't want to kill him, right? I have to be careful. He's got like 400 and a bit hit points. So that was 200. Technically put darkness on him, but that usually doesn't make much difference. But that let us basically damage ourselves 100. That saved us a turn. I don't think I can afford to do that a second time, though. Because if I roll high, it might be enough to kill him. Can probably keep track on how many healing potions we've used as well. It's going to be around 20 or a bit higher than 20 per drink on average. So we've used 22 healing potions. That's probably 400 to 500. Obviously, we've healed him quite a few times as well. We must be up in the 600-700s of damage. Not counting overhealing when he's already maxed out, but... I mean, we can just set him up for an amazing kill once we're done here. Just don't accidentally use that Bane Sword. Should not have left that in my top slot. That's too easy to accidentally click. 127 damage was a pretty good hit. I think he's probably like 2 hits away from finishing. 2 hits on Cecil. Wow, that was a low hit, but I'm still gonna say maybe one more does it. It's possible if you were counting, if you knew we were at like 900 or like 950, I could use his skill one more time, and that would be enough. Killing the enemy but taking the damage at the same time would probably count, but I'm not gonna be risking that. I've already been on this fight for like 5 minutes. I don't need to do this twice. I think this is a cool quest. Like, it's a cool, like, side quest for one of your characters. But I'm not a huge fan of how this works mechanically. Because, like, I don't think you're ever going to naturally just have this happen. Still didn't happen. Maybe, he must be close, though, by now. Either that or I missed the text pop-up. But yeah, I feel like there's almost 0% chance of this happening, taking 1,000 damage in one fight, without really setting this up. I mean, I guess final boss with Chaos, you might take enough damage, nuked, and then cure forward back up. It could happen, but that doesn't count because that's the end of the game. I'll use a couple big heals. He's definitely taken some damage. We've gotta be there, right? Maybe we only get to pop up the first time because there's like an achievement for it. I haven't been keeping counts, but I certainly don't want to die. You think we're there? I should have kept count. I should have mathed it out. Or turn the, well, turn the response speed down, but then this would take way longer anyway. I think one more hit on Cecil, and then I will use his skill to take another 100 damage. And if he's... If I was on an emulator, I'd save state it, because, like, I don't know. But I don't want to be here forever. Okay, we took another 100 damage. I still didn't see a pop-up. It's another 78. So the Tyro's taken, like, nearly 400 damage now. Which is pretty close to his total. I suppose on New Game Plus, this might be a bit easier, too, because enemies would hit harder. Yeah, that might be one of the different things. Like, playing on normal difficulty, maybe enemies just aren't strong enough for this to really work. Oops. Oh, running would be just as bad. No running allowed. Okay, one more hit to Cecil, and then I kill him, I think. We'll say that's good enough. Punks. I feel like we must be there. I can't prove it. If this is not enough, then I don't know what to do. So interestingly, if you kill the enemy, you don't take the damage. Was that what we just learned? Or I don't know. Please, please, game. We were there for ages. Let this be enough. Someone's gonna be like, actually, halfway through the battle, the message popped up. You just didn't see it. Yeah, okay, good. So, an upgrade. And that's the last of our side quests, I think. Other than buying some scrolls, maybe. I could probably do that. Yeah, new skill. I did accidentally spoil this because I knew about it. As you're nearly dead, you get more damage. How much? I don't really know, but it's like the opposite of the Ultima weapon in FF7 and Atma weapon in FF6. Well, but there was a chicken knife in FF5 that worked like this. Or was that Chrono Trigger? One of those anyway. But yeah, low HP, max damage. Interesting. Not like great, because you generally don't want to be low HP. Again, if a white mage with a life spell, not as deadly to be at low HP because you can get revived. But without a white mage, it's a bit tricky. But that would be the way to do the new max damage. We did 5,000. So should we try get Cecil to like 5 hit points and then go set up on an imp again? Maybe later. Maybe before we go do the final dungeon. Is this unrunnable? Okay. Normally, Cerebuses are runnable, but I guess if there's a Wizard Ogre, that changes things. Either we got really bad luck or it's unrunnable, which is fine. Just didn't notice. Might not be a very common encounter. Hopefully. Didn't I? I thought I cast float. Well, clearly not if we're getting random encounters. Okay. Let's go buy some more potions. So, unfortunately, that did basically burn through most of my... Oh, also armor. Most of my, like, upgraded potions. It'd be cool if there was, like, a secret item shop that fixed you on that. I guess we should have enough money. Although I might sell any spare dumb swords we don't need. We don't need tridents. We don't need... I am going to hold on to the power staves. I think we've got 3 right now. Honestly, the Bane Sword... Don't need that anymore either. Just rather get a little bit of gold. We've got 3 power staves. Or staves probably is correct. And I think we can get a 4th one if I get the Mystic Key. And maybe that's all of them, because, you know, a character can hold 4. I don't know. Maybe there's something you can do with 4. Oh, I should also go get my Excalibur. I forgot about that. I mean, it's not very important in a game with no knights. There might be some other new classes that can use them too, but I doubt a ranger can. Yeah. Effective against everything is really good. Bonus damage to all enemies. Certainly not bad at all. Right, so my plan was stock up on some cool scrolls, and then we'll go do the volcano, and then we'll go kill the Lich. I'm not sure we'll get all that done in today's episode, but I will make an effort. First up, also finish up our black magic. We must be pretty close to level 8 slots. So, quick guarantees your ally goes first. Next turn. Doesn't sound that great. Zap is at least Time Elemental Death. Makes sense for a Time Mage. Time Elemental Paralysis seems worse than Time Elemental Death to me. I think Stop has a higher accuracy than Zap, technically, but yeah, it's kind of questionable. Oh, and technically this is all my money. Not that Quad X is all that important, but hey, we got a full set of spells. That's what I like to see. Yeah, so much for having spare money for, well, we can sell Excalibur. Who needs it? It's just some garbage sword. That'll get me at least a few scrolls. So, in terms of utility, I definitely have used some fire ones. Yeah, I just don't have a lot of money. I think Lightning is one of those things I generally know who's weak against. Similarly, ice. The spells that I am familiar with from black mages are easy. Wind seems to work on undead, but so does fire. And then, like, water and earth, I don't know how often that's ever going to come up. Without spending a lot of time looking at the bestiary, basically. Like, what is a difficult... Okay, that was really slow load there, weird. A difficult enemy that you might want water or earth on is kind of the question. Like worms are pretty strong. Are they weak to anything in the final dungeon? They're weak to wind. Okay, so +1 for wind scrolls. Or the arrow spell, if you can pick it up. If we could find the war mech, no weaknesses. What else is, like, powerful late game? T-Rex you're never going to run into unless you're super lucky. And you're searching them out. Other late game strong enemies. I mean, we fought some wizard vampires, fire and holy, easy enough. All the dragons are in the final dungeon, but standard weaknesses to them. Quick scroll. Just thinking of things that I might want scrolls for. I guess iron golems. So rock golems weak to water. That's 1 for water. Red dragons, ice, poison, stone, water. I didn't know that. Poison stone, that's surprising. Not that we see very many. They're pretty rare dragons. What else we got for the final dungeon? There's a phantom, fire, holy, standard try undead. Anybody else kind of dangerous? There will be nagas, but lightning, easy. The man cat, the rakshasa, weak to nothing. But he's a spellcaster. That would work. Gas Ds are tough, but ice. Ice works, and so does wind, apparently. But yeah, ice is the classic one for those guys. We've got these gray ankylos. You're not going to see any of them. They're special. Ghosts for fire, holy winds. Just trying to think if there's anything... So the iron golem is very rare, but one of the stronger, like, super high absorb enemies. But it's not going to work because there's no weaknesses anyway. Chimeras are ice and water, sure. I think I remember ice being standard for those. Like, I'm not seeing... Is, like, nothing weak to earth? Because what's the point of having an earth ability if nothing is weak to... Like, the earth scroll does earth damage, right? Like, woo. What does that matter? Blue dragon weak to fire. Is that always true? I don't know if I remember that one. Not very many blue dragons. They're literally the rarest dragon, I think. They're in the Mirage Tower, and there's a trap tile, but other than that, they're super rare. Standard weak to fire, weak to ice. That's it. I don't see anything weak to earth. Like I understand maybe the developer just adds it in because it's cool. It makes sense. But like the monster set isn't taking advantage of that weakness, which means the ability is kind of useless. I think it says like flying enemies are immune to it entirely, and if nothing is weak to it, it's kind of like the Titan. And I think there's a Titan spell for the summoner. But if nothing is actually weak to earth, then it's just one of those things. I have so much experience with fire, ice, lightning that I generally remember which is weak to which, and even which resists them in general, because I've played this game too much. But the new elements, I don't think there's anything. Interestingly, this one's weak to time. That's a custom enemy. That's good. These are all the summons if you're going to fight them. So technically Ramuh is weak to earth, but like that's a one-time boss for a summon that maybe you can't even get earth that early anyway. Carrie officially weak to water. That's something she wasn't weak to before. So usually she actually resisted ice because she's a demon, not a fire creature, technically. But water, that's good. That's something. And it does work on Carrie too. Kraken 2 loses its lightning weakness. Interesting. Lich gets fire, wind, holy. Loses fire for the second form. Poison stone, and then nothing. Yeah, alright. Okay, I mean, I just wanted to double check all these, but basically the Earth Scroll seems, unless it does way more base damage, kind of like it's not very good. Okay, let's 45 minutes just to do all that. Okay, let's see if we can at least get the rest of the. Well, maybe if I can get the Volcano and the Lich killed then next episode can be the final dungeon. I mean, I'm pretty happy with this group. It's not, like, perfect. The lack of a white mage is pretty brutal, and I don't think the ranger adds very much. And the thief is, like, certainly better than vanilla thief. I mean, not that that's saying much. Vanilla thief is, like, literally the worst. But giving them the ability to find some items, that helps. I think what he really needs is one of the patches that the randomizer for the NES version did, is it gave thieves increased hit percent growth. So their strength and base damage is kind of low, but I think they get like 4% hit growth per level rather than 2. And like knights and fighters only get 3% hit growth per level. So being able to go actually get extra swings, and I think the Dawn of Souls remake did something like that as well, actually. So it turns the thief into actually getting lots of weak attacks, which seems like how thieves probably should play, rather than a couple weak attacks, which is what they actually get in the NES version. They get the same number of attacks as a red mage, and they're not any stronger, and can actually use less weapons. So, unfortunately, you know, by the time we're doing this dungeon, the regular treasures are all worthless. Literally the last dungeon we're exploring, I think. But I do need to get those 3 special items, right? This is a big floor, so it's going to take a minute. Paralisks, so there are, what are they called? Pyralisks is what they're actually called in D&D. They are basically fiery chickens. Now, they don't, I believe, insta-kill you in the original D&D. I believe they light you on fire, which perhaps in AD&D did mean you just die. But it was more like you combust instantly rather than you just fall over dead. So perhaps immunity to fire or resistance to fire would have been beneficial if you had some access to it. In FF1, they just kill you. So, you know, there's that. And I don't know if I mentioned it, Wizard Ogres, actually Oni, which is the, not an ogre exactly, definitely related to giants, but more of a demon. But they are officially blue. And, like, I actually looked it up. The spell set that whatever, I don't need the heal helmet that bad. The spell set that the Wizard Ogre has is exactly the same as, even 5th edition Oni, basically. They get, like, darkness and... I can't remember all the spells, but, like... It actually is basically the exact same set. And they're blue, which is classic. Like, they can generally, like, sort of change their shape. Like, they don't have to look big. Like, they can alter self effectively, basically. But, yeah, the blue giant is actually not an ogre officially, but something that has existed since old D&D. Ogres, and I'm not sure how green ogres would work. They're probably like ogre chiefs or something like that. Just like bosses. Kind of like there's imps and well, imps are goblins, and then like there's like goblin chiefs and stuff as well. It's probably something like that, like just a leader. My quest to figure out every FF1... I got another achievement. My quest to figure out every single FF1 monster. I have figured... I'm pretty confident in like 95% of them. There's still a few that I'm not 100% on, but like the Wizard Ogres, I'm actually very confident. There's too much in common with Oni, basically. So that's pretty cool. Oh, wait, was there more on this floor? 3. Oh man, I did a terrible job. I will say, overall, the thief searching has been a bit of a letdown. Most of them have just been like 5 gold or a potion. And then when they are equipment, like, a lot of the times they're for a class that you don't have. Which Seems weak. I still haven't tested if you can find treasure without the thief if you know the spot. I'm going to assume you cannot, because this isn't searching. This is the specific thief ability to interact with the environment. So they probably, no one else is going to be able to find these. But sleep resistance helmet. I mean, that's kind of cool. It seems like there's a elemental glove and a helmet of every element or every status that's been added in the cool set. I like the new items. Again, I wish there was a little bit more inventory space to deal with kind of all these, you know, things that if you had them in your inventory, you could choose to equip them for this dungeon and then switch it to something else. That would be fine. And I suppose in a way the caravan now works a little bit like that, where you can sort of store it and then buy it back. So it's a bit like we've got a stash, sort of. But I honestly just think it'd be better to have the ability to just carry your stuff. It's not. Unfortunately, no healing magic, so one of the reasons I didn't want to do Volcano was this. Having to heal potion spam your way through is... that's a bit annoying. I mean, I'm pretty good at menuing, I guess. It's not too... Just tap those buttons. Yeah, I especially for armor. I think weapons are fine, because basically everyone equips one weapon and has 3 spare weapon slots. It's armor that is the problem, because you have potentially all 4 things equipped, and then you have no room to carry a spare. So if everyone could carry like 1 or 2 extra, that'd be probably good. And especially if you want to have like... It's like in D&D there's attunement slots for magic items now. It wasn't in old editions, but the idea is you can only attune to a certain number of powerful magic items, and then it takes like an hour to switch them out, basically. But it doesn't mean you can't have multiple magic items that are really powerful. It just means you can't have them all effective at the same time, which I think is good for balancing. It also helps spread them out upon the group, so you don't just have one person hoarding everything. So I generally think it's a pretty good idea. I'm sure you guys played Baldur's Gate 3 by now and saw how that all worked. I think it had the same rules, generally. But, the idea would be, you know, you might have, like, let's say, I think when I was playing, I had a Ring of Invisibility. You know, pretty cool. But I was a fighter, or a paladin at some point. And, I didn't really do much stealth or sneaking, but it was nice to have, occasionally, but it wasn't really, like, it wasn't something that was really core to my build or anything. And I think it's the kind of thing that I would have unattuned to and just had, and then, like, if I knew we were going to go do a stealth mission or something where it mattered, I would have put it on, been like, okay, well, I can at least turn invisible for free now. That's got to be worth something. Whereas, most of the time, if we're going to a combat dungeon, it didn't really value me at all, because it takes an action to turn invisible, which is not a very good use of your combat turn when you're a paladin trying to smite things. And protect your allies and all the normal stuff. But it wasn't like it was useless, it's just, if you only had 3 attunement slots, you might switch it out, you know, when it's situationally useful. And I think the armor here would be the same thing in Renaissance specifically. Even in the base game, but more so in Renaissance. Where you have a whole bunch of extra... What am I missing here? Is it, like, to the right of this room? I feel like I'm really struggling to find this thing. Oh, it was just right there. Maybe I even clicked that and just didn't see it. You know, I will put the fire shield on. It doesn't actually make a difference because we have the ribbon, but I always like to go, because the ice shield and the fire shield, flame shield are equivalent, but it gives you fire and ice protection if you alternate them, so I always like doing that. I wanted to see what we got here. Scale doesn't matter. Still never found a good spot for fangs. Haven't really done a whole lot of all of that, and I forgot to take the item. At least I didn't get too far. But it doesn't mean you have to fight the worm again. I'm not sure what the gray worm would be. It might be some sort of lava worm. Basically, all worms are probably related to purple worms, which is a classic old... Like, purple worms are worm in the final dungeon. That's just a set. We've already got one of those. There probably is a better, whatever those are called, what are they called? a better scarf. I feel like there must be some scarf that's better than that, but I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, I haven't 100% figured out what a gray worm would be. That's one of the ones I've been trying to figure out. My best bet is it's just a variant, like a fire lava worm variant of the purple worm or something. But I haven't seen anything specifically about them. And the purple worm is basically just copying the, I forget the name, but the thing from Dune, like the great sandworm from Dune. Which is more what the sandworm, which you fight in the deserts, are. Because they can crack you to death and all that. But even the D&D purple worm is, I believe, just a derivative of the old Dune book. That's where the giant worms come from, as a rule. But there are 3 types of them in Final Fantasy 1, and I'm not sure if they all have, like, D&D equivalents. Agamas are fire lizards. Actually a classic, big, powerful, way more powerful than Agamas. They're known for actually fighting with fire dragons, or red dragons, I think. Like, they're not trivial, know-nothing monsters like the Agamas. Kind of feel like just big fire lizards. Or like iguanas, but, you know, a bit stronger. But I believe in D&D they're actually, especially old editions, they were pretty spooky. Like, nearly on par with one of the adult red dragons. Alright. One more item? Bulls are just minotaurs, easy peasy, right? Dang it. Missed it. Did I go to that bottom right? Did I skip this room? I feel like it's possible. Yeah. No, I did explore it. I just skipped. I did not thoroughly check it. Alright. Unfortunately, this is not going to give us our full stealing completion, because we will end up having to go do the Mystic Key chests, and I know there's one in the Marsh Cave we have to go back for. Okay, so this bottom floor, I doubt there's going to be any good treasure here, but we're going to have to take the time to fully explore it. Bottom left is our boss. A spare flame sword. I do like that in general, because the ninja can use it, and usually it's like there's only one flame sword. But if you had a party that uses more than one fighter, or fighter adjacent, like the Spellblade, or whoever else can equip it, it is nice to have access to multiple of the good weapons, rather than you just get a single one and that's it. Which is, for instance, with the Death Knight, there's only one of each, what am I trying to say? One of each of the great swords. So having 2 Death Knights might not work, but he's the only one that can equip them at least, whereas fighter swords, I'm pretty sure there's a few classes, like the Red Mage and the Ninja, and a few other new ones. But we don't need spare ice swords or wood sticks. I don't actually need flame swords anymore. And the flame armor is equivalent to the ice armor, so no big deal. But yeah, being able to buy them back, I was talking a lot about preferring more inventory. I still think that'd be the better option, to have 1 or 2 extra item slots for armor specifically. But being able to store them somewhere is nice too. I guess like the caravan lets you buy them back. Maybe it would be better if you just had like an actual stash or something. Like maybe you could do it like on your ship or airship. I don't know. That'd be a bit of extra coding for sure, but I think that might almost be equivalent. If you could store stuff in your ship. Or maybe just you'd have access to like a stash, an inventory, when you're not in a dungeon. Maybe that'd be easier, just from the menu or something. But I kind of like the idea of like inside a dungeon you can't bring your, like, again, thinking of old school D&D, it was pretty common to have mules, cargo, like carts, because they used to track like inventory capacity and weight a lot more than most groups do these days, at least in the old rule set. And you often had hirelings that you would basically pay to drag your crap around, and they didn't necessarily go into dungeons very much because, they didn't want to die. But you could certainly use them to cart your crap around and, guard it a little bit when you're inside of a dungeon like we are right now. So if we could have a place to store piles of loot every time we took a break outside, when you take a rest at your house, you're literally carrying all these houses around. They're pocket houses. They grow or something. Iron helmets. Scale armor. So that's something that if we'd come here earlier would not have been as good as ice and flame armor. So I don't know why we'd ever want this. I guess if you had too many fighters and you ran out of... I honestly don't know. I feel like that's just garbage. If bone armor is a Volcano Ice Cave equivalent pre-promote armor, like top of the line pre-promote armor, it's actually worse than the other heavy armors, so... Unless it has some secret effect that I didn't see. It's possible. In other Final Fantasies, bone armor turns you into zombie mode, right? In FF5. Can't believe I missed one item still. It's the worst. If it was in actually, you know what? I should kill the fiend because I can teleport out. It's the last treasure item. And I mean, carry's not going to be a fight here. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna give her any respect. She survived one round of auto battle. Yeah. I mean, we're pretty over-leveled. Nothing in this room. Okay. We just gotta find whatever I missed. Maybe I should check this middle zone. And then we can just teleport right out. Doesn't seem... Must have been one of the rooms along the outside that I just forgot to click square. It's great. Getting a lot of blood from these giants. I mean, I guess they'd have a lot of blood. They're pretty big. I'm gonna go through them backwards. Oh, I can't run from fire, of course. Because I think I was more thoroughly checking for treasure at the beginning of my clockwise trip. And probably got a little bit lazy near the end. Really need to start using heal staff a little bit. All this walking through lava is... the magma is starting to burn. Now that we're getting the turn order we need. 880 damage with no help. Alright, here we go. So I forgot this room. It was nothing anyway. Alright, theoretically that's everything. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. We are at an hour, a little over an hour, but certainly we could go just kill a Lich real quick, right? We've already cleared that dungeon, and that should wrap up most of our reverse boss order trip. Yeah, we're just gonna zoom through this. And this is the nature of the reverse. Usually I do Lich. If I want to do reverse boss order, you have to do everything kind of normally up to Lich. And then if you want, you can go Tiamat, Kraken, Carry. And Carry is the weakest of the reverse boss order. Which is always kind of a joke, just smacking her when she's already, like, super strong with, you know, all the final endgame weapons, basically. This time we get to go all the way back to the Lich. And could have been the Vampire as well, but like I said, I want to eat all those bats. Have you seen any bats? If there's been bats, I should be eating them, but I may have just filtered them out. There's no bats in the volcano, right? That would be too much. There's no fire bats. You know what? You just leave a comment. Everyone leave one comment every time there's a bat. Just say bat. If I missed one. That's how we're gonna, you know, really stoke that engagement for YouTube. Really get those viewers, get those numbers up, basically. What if there was like an enemy bat, and if you got the final kill on it, that gave you a permanent stat, and people would be grinding that forever to get maximum stats for your Black Knight? That'd be pretty cool. I mean, terrible, but cool. FF4 had bats, right? The succubus vampire bats, and or was that 5? Maybe 4 and 5. I know FF1 the best of all the FFs. The other ones, some of them I've played a lot. Played a lot of FF6, played a lot of FF4, some 5. I've definitely played through 5 a lot, but I feel like 5 is one of those games where you just break it, and then the enemies and skills don't matter, because you just come up with a combo of job skills that basically trivialize everything. So it's not like FF1 where you really had to... When I first played this, I really had to memorize, like, a lot of enemy abilities, because there wasn't too many ways to cheese it. And, I mean, it was my first, so, of course. There is a treasure item behind the fiend here. Did we get any level 8 magic slots yet? Still need some levels if we want to actually see our final meteors. Well, I will make sure we get that before we get to the end of the game, don't worry. We could try... It's a spellcaster. Just be like, no magic for you. It's really Lich 2 that's dangerous, but Lich can't even cast magic. So I will say, like, I don't think the Ranger's great, but it's mostly because it's a pain to farm up these items. I mean, I'm just kind of lazy. I don't feel like it. If you know the Lich is coming up and you have 100%, if it is actually 100% chance to silence or whatever, then yeah, you know, the Kraken is trivialized, the Lich is trivialized. If you could get this, assuming you can make this before Astos, that would deal with them. A lot of bosses could be broken by these skills. I still think their basic aim is garbage. Hunter's Mark actually is pretty strong. We just don't need it. We're too good already. And their limit is fine. Scavenge, I think it's really just the difficulty of harvesting arrows and the fact that usually they don't matter. His general fighting, his skill at defeating random encounters is a bit weak. He's kind of like a boss killer. And I suppose our Death Knight is kind of like that too. He's kind of focused on, you gotta set it up. So I've got 2 really mega single target DPS. And the Death Knight has an AoE that's pretty good too. But they're more like setup characters. Like, they're really good against when you've got time to get all your stuff built up. Fighters and ninjas are a little bit more just attack, right? And probably lots of other classes. So the classes that take, you know, turns to set up are always going to be a little bit less useful for random encounters, because you just want to kill stuff quick. Definitely have used some heal potions, though. we don't have a healer, so that's all we got. Alright, well, we're at an hour again, and I managed to clean up all the orbs. Is there anything else we need to do on the world map? We could buy some more ninja tools. We did get the special bow. I wish there was more bows. That's one thing the Ranger's missing, too, is there's very, very few limited access to... I feel like I've explored pretty thoroughly at this point. Not very many bows. And they're not... Like, his regular attack is not great, and his charge attack, I think, is not great either. But the magic arrows are good against bosses. Yeah, he's pretty niche. We got this... Yeah, I think we got all those side quests done now, I think. Yeah, I think that's it. I got all my magic. I could... Well, I will have to do a little bit more work with... I'm pretty sure we're going to have to get that Mystic Key to finish the game. But we can figure that out next episode. Can I check? I haven't really shown this off very much. But, you know, there's a lot of achievements, which are pretty cool. I haven't really been keeping track of this. Craft an arrow. Like, there are special challenges for each of your... So I've got all these search achievements. That doesn't mean I have all the search treasure. Is there anything else I'm just looking for? I don't use limits very often. Okay. Use all 6 ninja items on one enemy. That's going to require fighting chaos and just spamming them, I guess, or something like that. I don't know how red wizards get level 8 spells. They normally can't. Some of these are just classes I haven't used very much. We drowned. Oh, that's right. So this is the special one we got. This is basically the achievement I specifically was going for by sequence breaking away from Lich. So that's what we got when we killed Tiamat. Oh, that's right. We could try to run. Yes, I should. I could do that too. This is an easy achievement. You need the ninja for this, right? With his limit. Make chaos flee. This would be like you'd have to use the fear spell on a white mage, I think, to get it to happen. Maybe some other stacking to get like hit rate up on it, because it's going to be pretty rare for that to work. Level 50 plus fear should get chaos to flee eventually. We got the legendary OK bow. It's not that amazing. But yeah, there's lots of challenges. Made all the arrows. I mean, I'm not too worried about getting literally everything. I just wanted to see, like, catch every controllable monster. Oof. That's 90. That's a job. I did get... Well, I got all the bats once. I don't know if I got them this time. We still eventually have to learn all the spells. Okay, there you go. There are 25 searches left. That's what I was really looking for. And there's still one enemy in the bestiary. Probably someone on one of the specific jobs that has a special fight. But, alright, I'm making a good dent in the overall achievements. Just wanted to see how that was doing. 25 items left. Some of them are locked by the Mystic Key. And then there's quite a lot of floors in Topher, Temple of Fiends Revisited. So, we might be on track. We'll see how that works. Anyway, we're going to end the episode here. Another hour-long one. I did get... Well, I'll sell off my my garbage weapons, because we'll probably get a couple more in the final dungeon, as is tradition. But yeah, Lava Axe. Basically Fire Sword for axe wielders. I'm very curious if there's anything we can do with these power staves. That's one thing. Anyway, I got it in the episode. I keep finding other things to talk about. But let's call that an episode. Thanks for watching, folks. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.